Can we welcome ma'am with a big round of applause?
Thank you for joining us, ma'am. Do take a seat. But honestly, ma'am, thank you so much for coming here. We have been really excited for this shoot.
Thank you for, welcoming me. And I would also like to thank you, Director Sir, to, ask me to go to Tribhuvan School for this occasion.
So before we get into all the serious stuff, I'd like to ask you, what did you feel? What was your reaction when you were called for the shoot for the talk show?
Okay, I was really excited. And I actually didn't know it was a podcast initially. I thought it's a panel discussion. So I was like, okay, let's go. But I think it is a first podcast for me also and you also. So
Yes.
let's do it with great enthusiasm. Yeah.
All right, so let's start with your beginning.
Yeah.
You're a professor at NIFT now, and for us that sounds huge. But what were you like as a student? Were you the artistic prodigy, the girl who was obsessed with fashion, or the kid who drew in the last pages of the notebook?
Okay, so basically my dream started when I saw my mom, getting involved in designing. And I didn't know at that point of time what design was, but I was very much intrigued by how she used to, design the bed sheets and getting it constructed by her own ideas. She used to do crochet also, sweaters, but I never wanted to do crochet and sweaters, but I always wanted to do something which is highly creative. And also I feel that fashion TV played a very important role at that point of time, because while watching it, I was really interested. Okay, I want to become a designer and I want to create something which people will wear, when I design that. So I think, that really inspired me.
So when you told your parents about that, what was the reaction?
My father was very happy. He was the first one to bring the form of NIFT and NID to me, and he was like telling me that you go for it. So there was no restriction as such. They wanted me to join whatever I wish to.
That usually does not happen.
Yeah, which basically in tier 2 cities it doesn't happen. So I was lucky enough in that particular space that they were like happy and they 100% believed in me, and they didn't give any kind of restriction as such. So that was I was lucky in that sort of manner.
So this all made you choose fashion in the first place?
Yes.
So was there a moment, like a specific moment, where you were like, this is my entire life, or did you just kind of stumble into it?
Initially when I joined NIFT, I was very clear and I was very determined also that I want fashion design. And NIFT played a very important role for me because I did my graduation from NIFT Hyderabad.
Oh, and now you're an assistant professor.
Yes,
at NIFT.
and I have joined as an alma mater to the same college. But my faculty members also, I will love to give them credit because all I am here because of my parents and faculty members. We don't realize this, but when you actually grow, you remember all the little things that faculty used to tell you, teachers used to tell you. And that plays a very important role in shaping anybody's career or their learning. So, yeah.
That's really inspiring, especially for students who still feel lost.
Yes.
So, well, another thing I really wanted to ask, being a designer and being a professor are two very different things. What made you choose teaching?
Teaching was never planned. I thought when I'll go and reach at the age of 40, 50, then I'll start teaching. I just gave it a thought, but suddenly, I don't know, it just happened. I went with the flow. I got an opportunity when I was working in industry. So initially, an offer came from Voxen, which is in Hyderabad only, a design college. So they asked me to come for a session of 10 days or something. I went there, students, and I interacted with students. The class really went well. So I really enjoyed that particular phase while I was teaching and being with the students. So from there, I didn't see, still I was in the industry working with startup brands. So I, again, a different opportunity came and they also asked me. So slowly it just happened naturally. I never intended to be in academics, but it happened and I'm loving it right now.
So what was your first thought, like being a designer? So as you said, it wasn't a thought to be a professor, right? So what was your first thought? Like when you thought about fashion, what were you thinking to do?
I always wanted to have my own brand. I still think, but it
You
eventually
definitely can.
Yes, definitely. And I tell my students also, but somewhere down the line, I think I'm a person who loves to learn a lot, be it any place. And I think teaching has given me that opportunity where being with every student have their own perspective, own creative ideas, and I love that. So I'm interacting on a daily basis with almost, you can say, 100 students, 200 students. So all these ideas, and I have to, in this process of teaching, I'm learning more. So that is basically one of the plus points, which I feel that is making me alive, keeping me
Yes,
alive. So that's
definitely.
there.
Now that we've already eased into the world of fashion a little, let's ask you a few more questions related to you, personal questions.
Okay.
How would you describe your own personal style in 3 words? And which one of them would surprise people the most?
Okay, so if I have to describe, I will say first thing is comfort, chic, and experimental.
And what do you think will surprise people the most?
I think experimental is one of the things which will surprise people the most.
You like to experiment with your clothes?
Fuse different kinds of things, Indo-Western together, or you're just wearing a top with a sari or something, very different.
Yes.
Yes.
Has your style always been like this, or did you go through any dramatic phases in life where you were like, no, this is not my style anymore, and you completely changed it?
Yeah, so if you'll ask me about my styling, one of the things that I really wear is the winged eyeliner. And I think it's been a part of fashion from the Egyptian era itself. But I was not doing it before. So I keep on changing things depending upon, likings. Designers get bored easily. That is also there. And they look for constant change in life. And, so because they are creative minds. So that's the same with me as well. So I keep on changing wherever is required. If I get bored, I change to a different, complete new look as per my mood.
And any dramatic phase where you suddenly got the ick, like, no, I'm not wearing this anymore, I'm not doing this anymore?
Yeah, one of the things which I used to wear was low-rise denim, which I will definitely not gonna wear now. And I think apart from that, all the things, because I'm a professor now, so I also now from the experimental, a little bit of classic I have shifted, and I have I dress more elegant these days rather than how I used to be experimental and quirky in college. So that has shifted.
So I think it also depends on the body shape, the body type.
Yes, basically. So being a designer, I know what will suit me, and I also suggest people depending upon what body shape and their body type is basically. So yeah.
I've heard that you work with export houses, design houses, retail brands, and now academia.
Yeah.
What part of this journey shaped you the most as a designer and as a professor?
I'll not pick one. I think each and every phases, each and every experience in the industry as well as in the academia has shaped my life. I mean, I've learned so many things from each one of them that I can, and it's very useful for me to tell the students also. Because when students come to you and they have their expectations and they want to know that, okay, ma'am, what will happen in retail houses and how will the design studio, work environment will be there, how will it be, then I'm able to tell them that, okay, this functions like this and this functions like this.
You look like you're very connected to your students. You love them very much.
Yeah, I am.
So how does trend forecasting actually work? And do you believe trends are becoming more cyclical now?
Okay, so trend forecasting is basically people who think that design and fashion is all about glamour. It's actually just one tip of the iceberg. And you need to know all the things happening around you, be it political, something is happening in music, something is happening in environment, something is happening in, religious, all the social, cultural, all the factors play a very important role. Apart from that, in fashion forecasting, I feel consumer behavior, psychology, all these things play a very important role in order to understand that is what is happening in a particular scenario and what the client or user, the masses will accept in future. So we have to study, in order to know and create forecasts and connect the dots for which the masses will accept, and that becomes basically the trends. And to be really honest, it's a prediction. So predictions are not 100% always right. It depends upon the behavioral change, the society and the culture, everything, and then people chooses, and it might be 90% correct, maybe sometimes 50% correct. What was the second question?
And do you believe trends are becoming more cyclical now?
Oh, definitely. Everything in fashion moves on cycle. So be it, if you talk about denim trends and Y2K fashion, so it keeps on coming back depending upon it. Is it more exaggerated, more subtle, or exactly depending upon what is happening in the current situation. So it's definitely cyclical in nature. These days, if you see, I think minimalism was there in 2020 somewhere around, but in 2025 you can see maximalism coming into scenario more. People are liking prints, bold prints are coming into scenario. So yeah, it's definitely every time will move in cycle only.
You mentioned earlier that fashion can be political, can be religious. Why do you think that it could be political or religious? Like, what's the difference, and how can you look at it and just judge their political beliefs or the religious beliefs based on their fashion?
So basically, fashion comes from the things happening around us. For example, we are having we are seeing a lot of climatic changing happening, right? So people are coming with fashion which is more inclusive in nature, garments which are will be seasonless. We can wear those garments in every season. So this is an impact that takes lead in fashion, and you will actually see that these are the changes which are automatically, you can see a translation of these changes in the fashion or the garments or the clothing that you're wearing. So it is not based or depends, it doesn't represent it exactly, but it is based on those things which actually helps the designer to think and create the things or clothing or fashion, accessories which are more inclusive in nature, and people would really need it, and not just is a part of luxury or desire. It's based on need as well.
Now I'm going to ask you something different. If a student wants to join NIFT, what should they start practicing now, or what should be their mindset?
Okay, so to all the students, when your parents tell you that, okay, read newspaper or do, get to know the general knowledge. When I was a kid, I also used to say, nahi, it's not needed, because we want to go to fashion college, but it's nothing like that. So please read, see what's happening around you. And you have Instagram, you are in social media, highly active. So somewhere down the line, subconsciously also you're getting that information, so that is somehow making you aware. Apart from that, following what is happening around the world, apart from that, you all can actually practice, see things and practice also into your day-to-day life. So maybe if you're having a little bit of half an hour time apart from your school homeworks and works that are related to school, give it to yourself and see that how can you make yourself better. Maybe you can make yourself creative, develop a hobby, and it doesn't have to be sketching only. You can just go for music, you can go for anything that you love. Also, there's a myth that I would like to break, that students mostly, they think that only humanities or like students with a specific background can go to fashion. I am from a science background, and anybody who is involved in any domain or any speciality can go to fashion or design field. And design is not just only about fashion. Design is much more. Design is basically a philosophy, a need-based thing which everybody needs to understand first. So if you want to get involved in design, you need to know design much in depth. And for that, please hear podcasts also from different kind of designers, business idealists, philosopher, psychologist, all these people you have to listen to basically, not just designers. So you will get an idea that, okay, how design is a culmination of all these things around you. Not just aesthetics and beauty, not just that, it's just one portion of it. I mean, you have to know everything around it. You need to get indulged in psychology, you need to get involved in all the things happening around, you need to get involved in the technicalities, the functionalities of the things. So yeah, that is what I want to convey to the audience.
Now I'll ask you about your fashion hacks. So do you have any budget fashion hacks, like something you swear by or something you think that it looks cheap but it actually is really chic and very classy?
Okay, so basically I tend to do sometimes of this, but I think now my change and thought process is completely evolved. So I think I will go for a better quality product, even if it's a little highly priced, rather than going for a cheaper product which I can always change, because I am trying to evolve myself in terms of sustainability also. So previously when I was student, I used to buy anything and everything, whatever I like, based on how much cheap it is. But now I don't do that. Yeah.
If you could design one outfit that represents your entire personality, what would it be?
I think somewhere down the line I'll design a very different, unique drape of sari, fused with something, maybe a skirt or a bottom, not how traditionally we wear it, but yeah, that will be something good, because I love draping and that is one of my forte as well.
That's great. If you could change one thing about school uniforms, like in general, what would it be?
Oh, I think I will take the liberty of being here in podcast. I think I'll make them more comfortable, more fun, and students should not feel that I'm going to school when I'm wearing a uniform. They should be free and it should be more expressive. So
and
I would,
confidence as well.
Yes, it has to be, and when they wear it, they should feel that, okay, I really want to go to school wearing the uniform. So that shall be there.
And I think especially the uniform of girls, like in my previous school as well, as I told you, we have track pants and shirts here, but many schools they have skirts and shirts as their PT uniform, which is when they're march pasting, they're like wearing skirts and shirt. What do you think about that, and why do you think it's still that PT uniforms like these do not have track pants in many schools?
Okay, so basically if from a designer perspective, if you ask me, if we are wearing a skirt, it's not so proper, but if you can combine a skirt with the shorts, which is known as technically squats.
Yes.
So you can wear that and it's pretty much comfortable and you can have that. And when it comes to PT uniform, functionality matters. So it has to have some functional aspects to it, like the fabric, it has to be knitwear, it has to have a little bit of stretch, a little bit of moisture wicking and all those things. So that has to be implemented. And I feel why this is not happening, maybe because of some systemic issues that needs to be resolved. But I eventually would like to, see students, and if I am involved, I mean, I would love to do it. And I think also students' uniform, I will bring more color to it as well. Because India is vibrant and we are so colorful, we are so diverse. All these colors should be a part of school uniforms.
Yes.
Unlike abroad schools, because there you don't see colors. It's very subtle, very classic. They prefer all neutral tones, black, white, beige and grays. In India, we are completely contrast. We love colors and we are colorful. So that's there. I would love to bring the colors to school uniforms as well.
And now, just for fun, what fashion trend do you think students will be following 10 years from now? Just for students.
Okay, something very futuristic, definitely, and also very comfortable. I mean, they won't worry about trends. They will choose whatever they feel like wearing and they won't care about what other people are thinking. So I think
that should be the thing.
Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they will be more carefree, they will be more willing to express however they want to in the coming scenario. I feel that.
So now we are switching gears. It's time for rapid fire. No thinking, no over explaining, just a word or a sentence. Are you ready?
Oh yeah, I hope so.
Okay. Most overrated trend right now?
Cargo pants.
A color that instantly elevates any outfit?
Black for me.
One fashion mistake everyone makes but won't admit.
Prince on prince, not a good, like together if they don't know. Yeah.
3 essential for college students.
Like garment wise, sorry.
Yeah, anything
Okay,
essential.
so essentials, I think they should have a shirt, clip, and gloss.
A trend you secretly love but pretend you don't.
Tomboyish look. Yeah.
Dream city to work.
Sorry?
Dream city to work in or design in.
Hyderabad.
You work there, right?
Yeah. But I
Sneaker or boots?
Sneakers.
Minimalism or high maintenance?
Minimalism.
If you had to describe fashion in one word?
Love.
Okay. Now that the last one was perfect, as you said, love. That was honestly such a wonderful conversation. I think all of us are walking away with something to think about. Thank you so much for sharing your time and wisdom with us, and I love your humor.